A few weeks ago, I talked about the Washington metropolitan area's busiest airport by total passenger count, BWI. I went through the history, the expansion, and the modern-day struggles the airport faces. However, BWI is not the only airport in the DC area facing struggles, albeit different ones. With a 42-year-old temporary terminal, people movers still running from the 1960s, and horrendous security lines during peak travel times, Dulles Airport needs a major facelift. To understand how the airport got to this point, however, let's take a look back to when Dulles was first envisioned as an airport of the future. Before we get into this video, make sure you drop a sub on the channel. I'm on the push to 10K subscribers, an insane number that I never thought I'd reach. I'd also appreciate it if you went and followed my Instagram and Twitter, where I post more aviation content, both links in the description below. In the aftermath of World War II, air travel in the United States was accelerating at an unprecedented pace. By the early 1950s, Washington, D.C.'s primary airport, Washington National, was operating well beyond its intended capacity. It was clear. The nation's capital needed a new, modern airport capable of handling the demands of the jet age. In 1950, Congress passed the Washington Airport Act, authorizing the creation of a second airport to serve the growing metropolitan area. After several years of debate and site studies, President Dwight D. Eisenhower selected a largely rural stretch of land in Loudoun County, Virginia, near the small African-American community of Willard. The site, spanning over 10,000 acres, was chosen for its vast open space and relative proximity to downtown Washington, D.C. The decision, however, came at a cost. Over 300 homes and buildings were acquired and demolished, displacing residents and erasing the small town of Willard from the map. With the location set, the government turned to one of the era's most visionary architects, Eero Saarinen. Known for his dramatic, futuristic designs, Saarinen set out to create an airport unlike any other. His vision was bold: a sweeping terminal building with a roofline meant to evoke the motion of flight, supported by slender concrete columns and framed in glass. Construction began in 1958, and 4 years later, on November 17, 1962, Washington Dulles International Airport was officially dedicated by President John F. Kennedy. The airport was named in honor of John Foster Dulles, former Secretary of State under President Eisenhower. Dulles was revolutionary. It was the first airport in the United States specifically designed to accommodate jet aircraft, and perhaps its most innovative feature, the mobile lounge system. These rolling transporters, essentially buses on steroids, were designed to carry passengers directly from the terminal to their aircraft, eliminating the need for long concourses and reducing walking distances. But despite its forward thinking, Dulles struggled in its early years. In 1963, the airport served just over 50,000 passengers. These numbers paled in comparison to National Airport, and many airlines hesitated to shift operations to the new facility. For nearly 2 decades, Dulles operated well below capacity. That began to change in the mid-1980s when United Airlines established a hub at Dulles. In May 1986, United launched operations with just 58 daily departures to 24 destinations. It was a modest start, but it did mark a turning point. Over the next several decades, United transformed Dulles into a major East Coast hub. By 2016, United was operating over 200 daily departures from Dulles, serving more than 80 destinations across the United States and around the world. The hub became critical to United's transatlantic operations as well as its domestic connecting network. In the 3 decades since launching the hub, United transported more than 500 million passengers through Dulles and supported tens of thousands of locals' jobs. Even today, United and its regional partners account for the majority of the airport's daily traffic, roughly 68% of all passengers. Around 40% of travelers at IAD connect to another flight, while 54% are origin and destination passengers. To truly understand Dulles' place in the region, it's worth comparing it to its nearby competitors, BWI and Washington National, now known as Reagan National Airport. In 2023, BWI remained the busiest of the three, with around 12.85 million enplanements driven largely by Southwest Airlines. Reagan National followed with roughly 11.3, buoyed by its proximity to downtown DC and its status as a preferred airport for short-haul business travel. Dulles ranked third in raw numbers with just over 10 million enplanements, but it led the region in international traffic by a wide margin. Dulles is home to over 130 nonstop destinations, including many across Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and Africa. BWI and National, in contrast, are primarily focused on domestic routes. As demand grew, the airport began to expand. In 1985, midfield concourses C and D were opened as a temporary midfield terminal intended to accommodate growing passenger volumes while a permanent facility was planned. Nearly 4 decades later, it's still in use, showing its age with low ceilings, narrow corridors, and dated amenities. Despite its temporary designation, it serves as the primary base for United Airlines domestic and international operations at Dulles. All United mainline flights, along with most of its regional departures, operate from this terminal, making it one of the busiest and most critical facilities at the airport. A decade later, the main terminal doubled in length, and in 1998, the second midfield terminal complex housing Concourses A and B opened. All non-United flights and some United Express flights operate in and out of these concourses. In the 2000s, a multi-billion-dollar capital improvement plan known as D2, short for Dulles Development, modernized runways, built a fourth runway, and introduced a new automated underground transit system, the Aerotrain. The Aerotrain, which opened in 2010, helped replace many of the aging mobile lounges. It connects the main terminal to Concourses A, B, and C via a 3.7-mile underground track. Yet, most of Saarinen's original mobile lounges are still in use at Dulles today. The Aerotrain noticeably lacks a connection to Concourse D, where most of United's domestic flights operate out of. Concourse D is by far the most utilized concourse at the airport, so why it does not have an Aerotrain station is a question worth asking. One of the most impactful developments in recent years came in November of 2022 when the Washington Metro's Silver Line finally reached Dulles Airport. After nearly a decade of construction and delays, Phase 2 of the Silver Line opened 6 new stations stretching from Reston all the way to Ashburn, with Dulles International at the center. For the first time, travelers could ride the Metro directly from downtown Washington, D.C. to the airport in under an hour. The average ride from L'Enfant Plaza to Dulles takes about 58 minutes and costs just $6, offering a reliable and affordable alternative to driving, taxis, or ride shares. The new Dulles Metro station features a covered walkway with moving sidewalks that connect the platform directly to the main terminal. It's efficient and accessible in just a few minutes. The impact has been immediate. In the first year of operation, the Dulles Metro stop averaged over 5,000 riders per weekday and more than 1 million passengers total, making it the busiest station on the Silver Line extension. About 70% of those riders said they would have driven to the airport had the train not been available. With all that being said, it's clear that the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority, or MWA, is making major strides to upgrade Dulles. However, they're far from done. The timing of this video is nothing short of intentional. As I record this, construction is in full swing of a new 14-gate, 3-level Concourse E for United. This concourse is the first phase of a new plan called Dulles Next, and this plan, well, it's massive. This 435,000 square foot terminal building will house 46,000 square feet of dining and shopping options, a brand new 40,000 square foot United Club, an Aerotrain station, and room for even further expansion. The estimate for operational readiness as of recording is fall of 2026, but they aren't stopping there. At a recent MWA meeting, they outlined the distant future of Dulles and what they could expect to happen by 2045 and beyond. The master plan for 2045 outlines 45 million expected passengers per year, 154 contact gates, with 93 belonging to United and 61 belonging to other airlines, the demolition of the Concourse CD, a new Concourse EF, a new Concourse GH, and a connector housing gates that connect the main terminal with the A and B concourse. Beyond 2045, the airport expects to have 218 total gates with a full build of Concourses EF and GH housing some spokes with additional gates. The Aerotrain will also have a new station extending to Concourse G, and a new runway that parallels the current runway 3012 is planned. Now yes, these plans are ambitious, but also very necessary if Dulles wants to keep pace with the likes of the big airports in the United States. And if predictions are correct, beyond 2045, Dulles would be fit to see over 90 million passengers per year. Currently, the only thing funded is the new Concourse E, which is expected to open sooner rather than later. But I feel as though we'll eventually see most of, if not all, the planned construction commence in the near future. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a subscription, a like, and share it with everyone you know. The push to 10,000 subscribers is officially on, and I can't thank you enough for the support. If you like these airport videos, let me know what airport I should dive into next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.